Hello safari lovers, this is Shelley and Alex. This video is specifically going to be for the ladies going on safari sometime soon. But first,
opening sequence.
Hello wildlife watchers, welcome back for an all new Safari Insights video. I'm Jeff and today we're doing a bit of a takeover. I'm gonna actually step out of this video and let the ladies take over.
The bushwives are taking over.
The bushwives are taking over. Here on the channel, I share a lot of packing guides and insights when it comes to safari travel, and I know a lot of you have really benefited from these videos. But there's always been one major perspective lacking in this content, and that is a female's perspective.
And now you got two of them.
That's right. So who better to call up than Shelley and Alex here. We have been traveling for 2 weeks through Kenya, and we have 2 weeks left to go. So I sat them down for a conversation to tell us about what they're happy they brought and maybe some things they didn't think they needed after all.
This is a ladies only space.
Men, get out. We broke this video down into 5 different categories just to make your packing journey a little quicker and easier. And we're gonna start with hair.
Okay everybody, so we're starting with hair. I have a lot to say on this topic. If you've been watching us for a while, you would have witnessed my hair journey on safari. It's had its own storyline several times. I learned the hard way to come prepared on my trip last year to Uganda with Jeff. And so this year I came prepared. So I'm gonna show just a couple essentials. But before that, I'm just going to explain why taking care of your hair is really important on safari, because you will be roaming through really dusty, dirty landscapes. Your hair is gonna get tangled. The air can be really dry, really humid. My hair gets so knotted up that I can't run my fingers all the way through. So for that reason, you wanna make sure you're taking care of your hair and you can run your fingers through it. So this is a survival guide. Let me tell you, you might think shampoo and conditioner is standard knowledge. There's a lot of places that don't have conditioner, so I beg you guys, bring your own. Any conditioner works. Whatever one you have at home, they'll usually have a shampoo. Last year when Jeff and I were in Uganda, I could not find conditioner anywhere. We had to go wandering the streets for it. I found a hair conditioner that was for a different hair type. It was not a pretty picture. I really suggest any leave-in conditioner. Trust me, this is gonna make a world of difference. Your hair is going to need some extra moisture to lock it in. Pick whatever is your favorite, and a wide tooth comb, you guys. Trust me, those fine tooth combs are not gonna be fun to play with when your hair is all knotted up. Get one of these guys. And this is a little, like if you wanna be a little bougie or a little fancy, this is just a hair oil, which smooths and makes it silky and pretty. I just put some, well this is the brand, I love this stuff. I just put it in a little travel size container because it's really helpful.
One thing is plan to braid or tie your hair up. Adding to that, hats too. Mine's got a little snatcher back here. It won't fly away. There we go.
This is sports mode activated.
Sports mode. I have 2, so I can go
You can
back
switch
and
up
forth.
the looks,
Change
you
the
know.
looks.
I just have one, but anything wide brim. These are UV protected or something like that.
They fold so
up.
easily.
Travel
when packing,
friendly.
So
big fans of these. Those were the basics that I would recommend the ladies to bring in terms of hair care. Again, most higher end places will carry shampoo and conditioner, but you never know. Also, if you're staying maybe somewhere mid-range or budget friendly, they might assume that you bring your own. So just to be on the safe side, you want to bring your own.
And not all hair types are created equal.
Yes.
So think for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, gang, thanks for sticking with us thus far. We're gonna move on to our next category, which is everything to do with the face. Alex, take it away.
I have this handy dandy travel toiletry bag. I don't ever unload, actually. And it has many compartments, but my vital sunscreen and 2 products that I wear by and I bring them on all my travels are my tinted moisturizer, because you still want to feel cute and tan, but you want to be protected, so 50 SPF is my product. And then the tubing mascara that I use.
Look at her eyelashes, you guys.
It does not wash off whether you're sweating or you're going through a dust storm or it's raining. It just gives you that boost of confidence because you are going to be covered in dust most of the trip. You might even shed a tear because you're seeing such a beautiful sighting. So these two are my go-to. Yeah, so La Roche-Posay is my tinted moisturizer.
It's a Canadian brand.
Yeah, it's incredible, and I swear I don't use foundation. This is all that we got, and it's amazing. And then this Victoria Beckham mascara, and it's been the best investment. And if I could not bring anything else, I wouldn't. This is it. When packing for my first trip to Africa and safari adventures, I knew I needed something that was gonna protect my face from all the UVs. And now being on the trip for 2 weeks, I can speak on the importance of having good sunscreen.
In terms of skin, the biggest takeaway is protecting yourself from the UV rays. We are right on the equator, so the UV rays are super strong. The index is 9+ every single day. So because of that, everyone needs sunscreen, no matter your skin color. A lot of the places you're staying most likely will not be providing sunscreen, so you want to bring your own. I am quite tan, so I don't necessarily burn, but I still need sunscreen. You guys know why sunscreen is important. Alex, being of a fair skin tone, you know how important it is to wear your sunscreen. Do you want to talk a bit about it?
Yes, rain or shine, cloudy, shaded, wind, no wind, you're still exposed to the UVs, and having a good sunscreen on your face specifically, but also the rest of your body is critical, so make sure you pack it.
So depending on where you're traveling within Kenya or anywhere in Africa, your skin might respond differently. I know for myself in certain parts of Kenya, I've had different rashes come up, dryness, dry patches, and so you want to prepare for any kind of outbreak that might come up. Alex packed this little doohickey. It's an Aquaphor healing balm stick, quite big, and you can use it anywhere on the body. I think something like this would be super handy. You can use it on your lips, which might get dried out in the Savannah heat. Also, SPF lip balm, something like this would be perfect. Whatever little hacks you guys have at home that you use when your skin's feeling a little sensitive, I would recommend bringing that with you just in case.
But don't forget to hydrate, and if your lips are already chapped, that means you should probably drink a little bit more water. On to category 3. What are we wearing on this trip?
So guys, now we're gonna talk a little bit about what you want to bring to wear on safari. I think Alex and I have a couple of different clothing pieces that we found to be really handy. It is going to be hot in Africa in the daytime, and it's going to be cold in the nighttime. Depending on the year, temperatures can fluctuate a bit. There's also rainy season, so you want to prepare for potential rains. A lot of safari lodges will have ponchos that the driver brings when you go on safari, but in case there's not one around, last night it was about to pour, we didn't have ponchos. I'm so glad. I had this windbreaker for like 10 years. It's just a simple North Face. You can get it on Amazon. Something like this that folds up tight is perfect for travel. You just want to have it in your back pocket or your backpack in case it starts pouring. That's one. In terms of everyday wear, simple fabrics like linens and cottons are great. The UV protective long sleeve button-ups are great. Alex has a couple of things that she really loves, so take it away, Alex.
One thing that I will recommend are these pants that you can
Amazing
get
pants, you guys.
in REI or on Amazon. As Shelley mentioned, mornings and evenings can get chilly, but as soon as that sun rises, you are in the sun and you want to strip a layer. So these pants unzip from pants into shorts. They have been amazing over the last 2 weeks that we've been traveling. Plus you have 2 different outfits in one. So you can have shorts, long pants. They have a lot of pockets and are very handy and just amazing.
They're so good that I'm rushing home to buy a pair myself.
We'll link them in the comments below.
Speaking of high temperatures, I get made fun of for this guy all the time. And you might ask, Shelley, what is this thing? It's a neck fan. And you know what? It might look a little nerdy, but I can guarantee once you're on safari, people are gonna wish they had your neck fan. It gets quite hot in the daytime. A lot of the time the air doesn't move. It's quite stagnant. This can be a lifesaver. I am from Canada. I'm not used to the heat. I need ice all the time. You guys know I'm a liability.
Pro tip?
Bring the neck fan.
Want advice?
Yes. Oh,
Tie your hair up.
tie your hair up, you guys. I didn't. I almost lost half my head of hair. Some of them have closed fans. I will link you guys the better version of this one. I'm just letting you know the neck fan comes in handy. I just wanted to stress one point. You will be on the road sitting for long periods of time. You will be on long transfers on the road, which can be quite bumpy, otherwise known as an African massage. You're gonna be bouncing a lot. So you want to be comfortable. I always say, especially on the commutes and the transfers, style goes last, you guys. Just be comfortable. Bring your pair of comfiest shorts, like loose, breezy t-shirts. Don't do the fitted jeans on these like 4-hour drives. You guys are gonna regret it. Also dress in layers. A lot of the safari cars don't have AC. They just rely on the windows, so you're gonna be sweating. And I want you guys to be comfy. So.
Make sure there's ways to loosen up your pants.
Yes.
You will be eating a lot and sitting a lot.
You will be eating and sitting along. You need to unbutton the pants for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we are moving on to category 4. This one is going to be specifically about women's health, and Alex is going to tell us a little bit about the essentials that we highly suggest you bring along.
We're staying in remote places where the trash does not get picked up as frequently as it is probably back home. So to help and eliminate that extra step and pollution, think about bringing a Diva cup and
be eco-friendly. Consider the Diva cup.
Another thing I'm gonna add about the Diva cup, you do not, depending on your flow, but you don't have to change them as frequently as you do with tampons and pads. So it gives you that comfort that when you're out traveling on game drives or commuting between lodges, you don't have to worry about needing to make a stop to visit a restroom. If you're prone to yeast infections, consider bringing an extra pill or 2 just to help you manage those symptoms. And in our last category, we wanted to chat about some bonus tips coming from us personally. Take it away.
So we're just going to talk a little bit about personal favorites. You don't need to bring these things necessarily. We're just letting you know these are some of the things that made our travel more meaningful or more comfortable. These guys have heard me rave about these so much. I have been nerding out over the ear headphones. I don't know, maybe I'm late to the trend. Maybe you guys are already ahead of me. They're just comfy over the ear headphones. I've been using AirPods for a while and they hurt. Like I said, you're gonna be on long transfers for hours and hours. You're gonna want to listen to music or podcasts, and you want to be comfy while you're listening to those things. So you guys know I hide in the back seat with these on all the time. You won't hear from me for hours, and my ears don't hurt. They're not sore. They don't have to be charged. They're just simple. Plug them in and use them. So I would say this is a personal favorite, and this might be more so targeted towards the creatives, but this time around I actually decided to bring a journal / watercolor journal. It's thick so you can paint and it doesn't bleed through. We have liked it to record sightings, favorite or notable things that we've seen on specific drives, and it's just a nice memory to take back home with you. Along with this is this really great little size. It's a Winsor & Newton travel size watercolor set. So this is great. I have been having so much fun painting in between drives and keeping track of our sightings, so that's just a personal favorite.
As for me, my favorite tip and thing that I've done for this trip is that I invested in this carry-on backpack. I did not want to bring a rollie. I wanted things to be on me at all times, and this bag has been incredible because it unclips and opens up just like a carry-on where you can roll things in.
Wow, check that out, guys.
And it's so spacious. It's not hard shell, so you can fit more and squish more. And the best part, my favorite part, is the fact that it has a hip strap that can sit on your hip and not put any weight on your lower back. And yeah, I love it. As for my second bag is my camera bag. I am photographing the trip, and this has been incredible, and it doesn't dust over because it has this awesome material, as well as this safe back pocket for where the cameras go. This is my biggest tip for all travel lovers who want to document their trip in a beautiful way. It's this Fuji film camera, which Jeff and I have a segment on that you can find out more about what cameras to bring on your trip. But it's been with me this entire trip, all day, every day, throughout the day. My baby!
The photos are gorgeous. Cue shots here. Okay, one last thing before we let you guys go. I just wanted to give one last tip, which would be to bring a aluminum water bottle slash water bottle that stays cool for 72 hours, whatever the insulated water bottles. Those are a lifesaver. You can just fill them up once with ice. Like I said, you're gonna be warm a lot of the time, but when you're hot, you can reach out for your cold water bottle and you'll be thanking yourself later. You can throw some ice cubes in there and you're all set.
How's it going out here?
We're just wrapping up.
Yeah?
You want to join us?
How'd they do, guys? Or ladies, excuse me. What do you think? Should they do more hosted safari segments like this?
Let us know.
Based on what I heard, you guys crushed it. Thanks so much for sharing your insights. I think they found it very valuable. Just so you guys know, excuse me, ladies, gosh, I made that mistake again. Just so you ladies know, everything we mentioned in this video and more, everything we brought on this trip is going to be organized in the description below, individual things and also a storefront categorizing all items, just to make it easy for you to browse through. So check that out if you're interested. And thanks so much, you two. I forced them to be in this video and they did awesome.
Anything for you, darling.
Aw. And it's so great to have some fresh perspectives on the channel. So if you appreciated the tips they shared, like this video. And if you want to follow along for more safari adventures,
Stay tuned.
Hit subscribe. Follow Jeff. Follow us. We're the Safari Squad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, gang.
Bye.